Hello, everybody. Welcome if you are new to the channel, and welcome back if you're already a subscriber. Thank you guys so much for all the support and love you guys have been giving. We're just creeping up towards that 1K. My goal is for us to hit 1K so that we can do plan with me's and scrapbooks with me's and live streams and all that jazz. So definitely thumbs up if you're loving the videos of any kind. Let me know what you like so that we can get some more content for you guys. And let's get to 1,000 so we can have some fun live stream parties. But today we are going over my 2021 planner selection. So I have been Team Hobonichi. I'm still Team Hobonichi. I'm not leaving completely. But I am switching up my planner style for 2021. So a lot of people this year across the board in the planner communities that I'm a part of and just friends and that type of thing, we've all been very chatty about pivoting. It's pivoting and assessing and reassessing, especially around this time of year, because we're in that mode of trying to figure out what worked, what didn't work, and we're trying to set up for the next year. And it's really hard as a content creator to make those decisions because sometimes your fan base comes from a particular community. I struggled with this when I made the switch from Hobonichi, or from Happy Planner to Hobonichi. And I'm struggling this time around as well to make the switch to Passion Planner. But all of that to say that I think it is super important, especially if you're a content creator, to be realistic with your audience as well, that it is okay to switch teams. It's okay to understand that while you love a particular company or planner or memory keeping device, whatever you want to call it, that it's okay that your needs are going to ebb and flow. And it's more important to continue assessing those needs and to be able to pivot and change with them than it is to stay in a place that doesn't work. It's kind of the definition of insanity, of doing the same thing over again and it not working. So all that to say, the reason I chose to go to Passion Planner is because, number one, I have found myself for the last year and a half falling very behind in my daily pages with my Hobonichi AVEC. I love it. I love flipping through it. I hate when I get very, 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 very behind and find myself trying to journal or create about a month or a day that is long since passed. It's really difficult. It's really difficult to put yourself back in that mindset and really be authentic about the day. Then it can get really boring and it's like, oh, well, I had this for lunch. And it's great to document all those little moments and that's all fine and well. But I just noticed that it was stressing me out far more than it was helping me. And I would definitely say that back when I got it in 2018 and I started it, and for a good chunk of 2019, it really was a therapeutic thing. It still serves a therapeutic purpose in my life. But I have also expanded on therapeutic or creative outlets that rendered the same result and actually accomplished something. Not just, it sounds really bad to say, but I felt like I was just whining into a journal. And that's just how I felt, to each their own. But I did feel like I was whining a lot into it, and it perpetuated staying in some situations. So all that to say that I switched planners to, one, be more productive, use my planner more productively, and have a little bit of an inspirational boost. I've used Passion Planner in the past. It was a long time ago, and it was probably about, it was 5 years ago. It was 5 years ago, and sorry I'm being really ranty. With the big switch that this is, I just want to be clear. If you're new, you can tune half of this out. If you're already a subscriber, this might actually be interesting to you. So I'm just throwing this all in there. All of the kitchen sink. all that to say that I tried it 5 years ago. At the time in my life, I probably needed something that was more along the style of Hobonichi, and I think I was actually I was converting out of Happy Planner at the time, or I was kind of struggling with Happy Planner at that point, and I really didn't even have a lot of time for creative content or planning or anything back then. But I love so much about Passion Planner. I'm really surprised that it didn't occur to me back in 2019 going into 2020. So I started looking into it again, and they offer amazing printables. I'll make sure to put the link down below, but you should really check out the website because there's tons of very affordable options. Truly and honestly, they're one of the most affordable planners out there that I've ever seen, and they do not encourage senseless add-ons, which I also enjoy. So this is definitely geared more towards planning. I'm still fully intending to do plan with me videos. I'm actually excited. I've done some testing on the I had an old one, and so I tested out a lot of my style of plan with me's on that, so I could test out, you know, stamping and watercolors and things of that nature. So I was really excited to make the switch. I did even at one point think that I could kind of create a hybrid of, in a way, so that I could keep my Hobonichi. And this kind of goes back to holding on to something that no longer serves you and the mental blockage that creates sometimes, because there's a comfortability element. And so I was very scared to give up my Hobonichi. And I kept thinking of, well, why do you want to keep it? Okay, what are your pros? What are your cons? Kind of a conversation. And the more I went on and on and on, I realized that my pros did not make any sense against the cons that I was trying to get over. So now into the actual planner and why we're really actually here. So I chose, when I had it 5 years ago, I did have the plain black Elite, I think is what it's called, undated. It started on a Sunday because I was in retail and our weeks started on Sunday in my particular company. And it was the large, I think I said that, but it was the large version. So I chose to go with the medium undated that starts on a Monday, because now my weeks start on a Monday. Now, sorry, I like walked away for a second. Now in terms of size, this is my Hobonichi Techo Cousin 2020 AVEC. Okay, so AVECs are split into two parts. If you don't know, it means that you get a January through June and a July through December. So this is, I knew that if I had been able to work in this size, I could do a medium. I did not want, I liked the large and it's easy to want to go with that, but I thought I could make do with a medium and it would take up less space in backpacks and things of that nature. It would make it more manageable to like put out on a table and travel as well. So I chose the medium undated, starts on a Monday. We're going to get into that. But I also chose this super gorgeous rose gold, and I'm sure you can see it, but it's the Birds and Bees edition. So there's this really pretty engraved picture with bees and pretty birds and this large floral with more bees. And I think it's like $1 of your purchase goes towards a protection of bees foundation type thing. And I loved that. And I normally am very boring about my planners because I want them to just match everything for some reason. So this was a bit off grid for me, for sure. Passion Planner has like a soft cover, so you can already kind of see the indentation from the loop that helps hold everything together, but that loop is handy. Obviously my Hobonichi doesn't have that. If you're having a problem with your Hobonichis getting fat and chunky, I highly suggest using asparagus rubber bands. So you ate something healthy and you got a rubber band out of it, and most times there's 2 rubber bands on there, so it's not a bad deal. But we'll go ahead and get into everything. As I said, Passion Planner is really affordable, and they actually offer give one, get one, to where you can pay for someone else to get one, and it's a service that they provide. And I think that that's wonderful. I did not do that this time around because I chose to donate in another fashion through their company. I am, when this video goes up, I'll have already taken it, but they offered a webinar series on planning and all of that, and you could actually donate so that others could take that course. And it was very geared around mental health, mental awareness, planning your goals, how that all works. And I thought that that was such a great webinar series to do, not just for planner people, but for people in general at this time. So I'm pre-filming this. That's why the tense is a little strange. But by the time everyone views this, I'll have taken the course, and I'm hoping to drag my boyfriend along for the ride because I think he would benefit from it as well. But you do have a nice little intro page. And again, this is the Undated Monday. Then it kind of goes through, I'm wondering how the glare is with everything. Okay, my lighting is so strange in here. I need to switch the lights. But it just talks about the planner. So you get the welcome story, how the planner is set up, what to expect, how to connect with people in the community. And it already kind of starts off with a fresh start. What's the biggest goal you would like to accomplish this year? Who or what motivates you the most? Write some words of encouragement for yourself to read during hard times. So it's very motivational. And I needed that. And I don't know if anybody else does, but 2020 rocked everyone's world. I don't care who you are. If you managed to get out of 2020 unscathed, kudos, chick or gentleman, kudos to you. But it talks about the passion roadmap and what their vision is for that, how to break it down, how to work it into your weekly goals, how to reflect. And we'll see that as we flip. This is the passion roadmap. So it's wish list creating, based off your life, your the 1 year, 3 year, 3 months wish list, all that jazz is going to go here. Then it helps you break it down into, you know, okay, what is going to give me the most bang for my buck? What's going to have the biggest impact on my life? How to break it down into specifics and timelines, how to make dates for it so that you can go ahead and put it in your planner ahead of time and have checkpoints. How to work at it. It really is broken down pretty clear for you. And I know it sounds like a lot. And this is a huge swing to go from very freestyle, open platform of Hobonichi to something that is a very behind the scenes style of planner of what's going on in my brain. And like I said, I felt like Hobonichi gave me a great dumping ground for some things, but it wasn't, I needed something that would give me a little bit more structure. There's so much going on between work and personal and side hustle, Etsy, content creating, that I really needed something to kind of stop the blur. And I knew this would help me brain dump, but also put some very serious goals into an action plan. So that was a huge reason for what I did. The next set of pages is 4 years worth of calendars. It's the previous year, obviously. Well, okay, that's one thing too. I purchased mine before the 2021 release. So I have 2019, 2020, 2021, and 2022 in here. If I had waited a couple of weeks, all this would have pushed over and it would have been 2020 through 2024. But I didn't do it that way. I'm completely fine with the calendar that I have. I may even... I'm going to probably cover that. There will be an entirely separate video for how I set this up for the year. I'm going to take this with me on vacation and take part in the webinar series and all those things and integrate that into here. So again, my tense is going to sound really weird, but hopefully that video should be up around the same time as this one going up. So this is what the monthly layouts do. Now this is very similar to how my Hobonichi was structured, where all the month layouts are in the beginning. Differences. So with Hobonichi, here, I can still show. I'm doing this all ahead of time. So Hobonichi layout gives you just the month. There's nothing wrong with that. And typically I would track my bills down this side, and that's really as fancy as I get. I track my workouts in here. I am planning to do the exact same thing, workouts in here, and I would probably, I don't know if I'm going to do like a tape in bills or if I'm going to do it down here. I really don't want to put it somewhere that there's already a prompt. I want to use all the prompts given to me to help kind of get me back on track with some things. So your month focus, you have a personal and a work focus, which I think is really important. I think it's very easy to get one track minded, one direction or another. And I did find that a lot, that some months I was very personal heavy, some I was work heavy, and I would get upset with myself for not having the balance. People to see. So obviously, I don't know, again, I'm pre-filming this, so I don't know what the state of the world's gonna be while I'm posting this, but odds are that there's a whole lot of folk that we haven't seen this year. So I love the people to see, whether it's a reminder to set up a Zoom call with a friend of mine or try to FaceTime with them or try to actually physically go see them. I do have some of those trips kind of in the works. I hope 2021 will have more opportunity for seeing people. Places to go. So making sure that I'm taking more time out on a monthly basis to get away, be it for a short weekend, be it a day hike somewhere, just get out. Again, as we unfold ourselves out of this, and God willing that when I post this, we've not gone into a relapse, that hopefully I can goal for places to go. And the not to do list, which I really enjoy the concept of, is I've done habit trackers. I ebb and flow with how good I am with them, but most certainly I think I need to just get better about not doing certain things. There is a personal projects and a work projects section. Now that it is kind of reflective to your weekly as well, and you'll see as we flip how they tie your roadmap into your month, into your week, into your day, so that it takes this big, giant, beautiful picture of your life that you would like to have and shrinks it all down into very tiny, bite-sized chunklets so that you can start accomplishing those goals and it doesn't feel like the hardest thing you're ever gonna do. But I do like that you can put due dates. So say with your particular work project, if you have those, you put them down. Break it down, create a mind map of this month's game changer. So you do get to pick, that kind of goes back to your roadmap and game changers that you may have, and how to break it down into maybe focusing on that for a particular month. I know some people that they structure their New Year's resolutions of, they do 12 resolutions, one for each month. So it might be save to a particular amount. It might be to clean out all the closets. It might be to purge stuff. It might be to redo the backyard. It might be to read 5 books. It might be whatever the case is. So it's kind of structured like, that's the best way I could probably describe a game changer. Then after your monthly spread, you get these monthly reflection pages, and it asks you reflection questions, which I love. I think this will definitely help me move forward. And that was a huge thing I've noticed. And when I was going back to journal in my Hobonichi, and it was, for example, I was journaling about April in September, and I found that a lot of the problems that I had in April, I was still having. And more importantly, problems I was still having back in April, and even now I was having a year ago, 2 years ago. And that really set in hard with me. And I went into a funk that was not good. And I am queen bee of positivity britches and optimism and light. And let me tell you, I was pretty much Tinkerbell when she drinks the poison from Peter Pan that Captain Hook gave him. I was there. I was losing my light. I needed some folks to clap for me because that is really funny because I am fairy size. That is applicable. I'm 4'10" and a half on a good day and about 110 pounds. So I am a life-size Tinkerbell to some capacity. But point being that I was not in a good place and I had no one to blame but myself. I could not turn and blame any other person for the problems that I was having but myself. Okay, sorry, my phone rings, so if there's a weird hop and it looks like the screen changed, it kind of did. My bad. Back to the monthly reflection, and overall, I really think that this will help promote some growth and decrease some stagnant behaviors and problems that I have no one to blame but myself. So I encourage the monthly reflection, even though I'm slightly terrified by it. And then it has an end of the month checklist to highlight your accomplishments and to reform. So again, kind of nodding back to that pivot of making it more of a monthly thing rather than an annual thing, so it doesn't feel like you are changing your entire world. And I feel like we're in that mindset that last quarter of the year of, oh my God, what did I do this year? Oh my God, what am I gonna do next year? And it just gets really stressful, and you can't chew the whole ball in your mouth of things and ideas pinging around. And I think that's why there's a lot of failure in that. And I hate to be that blunt about it, but I do really feel like that's part of it. And I'm not trying to diss myself, because I really do find that I am very optimistic and positive and I gain forward momentum, but there are certain things in my life where I am consistently stagnant about, or consistently more lenient with than I should be. So I'm looking forward to the monthly reflection. And then this just repeats for a nice, lovely 12-month spread, amount, whatever the word is. So we're gonna go right on ahead. And then at the end of all 12 months, I need to pull this out. You get a nice, lovely book marker thing as well, which I think is great. I am going to utilize my new little page keeper doodly thing as well, probably. You do have an end of the year reflection. I think if I have room in my Hobonichi, that I may use some of these questions at the end of it with some of the blank pages back there. I don't feel like there's as many as there used to be, and I'm working on kind of like a funky mixed media style piece in the back of mine, so I don't know that I'm actually gonna have room. But it would be great to put some of these questions in there and then be able to look at it, the compare and contrast by the end of next year. But it's things like, what advice would you give yourself at the beginning of the year? Review your planner for the past year and assess your priorities. Who or what are you specifically or especially grateful for this past year? So good thought-provoking questions. And you can go on their website and see different layouts, printables, styles. I did do quite a few printables, and they even have a test page so you can print it and see small, medium, and large setups of your day, so that you make sure that you buy a planner where you have enough room to write what you want to in the space that you might require. And it looks like the lawn people are here for the 1,032nd time this month, which is insanity. Anyways, so right here is where you put your week of. You have the dated section up here, because again, this is undated, which I'm looking forward to, because when you have week of vacations or you have Christmas or things like that, you may not need the whole planner. It doesn't happen to me very often throughout the year, so I'm not that stressed about it. You have a space for your week's goal, good things that happen, which I really like because it encourages that you would talk about the good things that happen versus whining, which I have been doing. You get a quote, and your quotes differ. If you saw my October plan with me, you'll see where I definitely tried to integrate some of this stuff into the planner. And that was my trial run at, oh, am I going to be able to do a hybrid version, or am I just going to need to bite the bullet and buy a new planner? Then you kind of have an action item, and it says, and it's different every week. For example, this one says, start off the year strong by reviewing your victories and writing down the key lessons you've learned from the past year. How will you apply what you've learned to reach your goals this year? Write down 3 concrete tasks you can do this week to help you achieve your biggest goal for the year. Again, this definitely is that planner to, okay, real talk yourself. Now let's make some goals. Now let's get to it and stop bitching. So I just like it. Every day you have a space to write your focus for the day, and then you have a hour by hour, and it's actually broken down by half hour too, which I like. And it starts at 6 a.m. and it goes to 10:30. Hobonichi starts at, let's look, at 5 a.m. and goes to like 4 a.m. And I found myself filling it in like the whole day and making it like a task list. And it was so outlandish and things weren't getting accomplished. And then I found myself stressing out. And I know I'm jumping back and forth between the two, but I really want to be clear of the reasons that I chose this planner, because what suits me may not suit you. So you need to hear ideas. And plus, it kind of lets you know if you're going through a similar problem that, hey, there's other folks out there that are going through that. So if you're having any of the same problems that I found myself in with Hobonichi, with another planner, whatever it may be, pop them down below. I really want to make sure that we're building each other up and helping each other through these pivoting points, rather than where'd you get those stickers? Not that that's not important too, but focusing on the actual point of the planner itself. You have room for a personal to-do list and a work to-do list, and it's broken down between top priority, and errands, which is great because we all have personal and work errands. We all have priorities and top priorities, and this makes it a lot more attainable to, you may have 50 things that are top priorities that week, but really nailing down like, okay, my top 4, like I can't get through this week without them. And you may have weeks where all 50 need to get done, but this makes it a little bit more bite-sized. Down here is the space of infinite possibility. So this does give me a little bit of room to maybe jot down ideas, tasks, other things I didn't think of, funny quotes. It just gives me a little bit of room. It's not as frightening as an entire page every day to get filled. And another thing that is really important is you do have a lot of blank paper in the back. I'll show you guys that. So if I need to write see back page number 1, I can always create almost an index of sorts. So then you have all your weeklies. Every week you get a new quote, a new prompt, things to reflect back on. Some even ask you to reflect back to your passion roadmap or a monthly lookout, things like that. One thing I did notice, I don't know if anybody else had a similar problem. It doesn't really bother me, but like here in the middle, clearly there was like an inking issue. So it's all gray instead of like a clear black. So I don't know. I'm okay with it. It's not the end of the world. It's not worth it for me to like throw a hissy fit about. So you get through all your weekly spreads, which you get one for every week. Then you get plain blank paper and dot grid paper. We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Okay, so 20, and I would wager to bet 20 of the dot grid. So you have 20 of blank, you have 20 of dot grid, which I think is fantastic. I think that is more than enough room for me based off the struggles that I've been having with Hobonichi. By the way, I'm so sorry this video is so much longer and rantier than I intended. In this back, you have almost like a satiny-esque pocket. The one I had before had it too. I like that, especially because this will not fit in my Galleon leather, which is what I kept my Hobonichi in. So it'll be nice to have this pocket for things that I did keep in the Galleon that I used daily. You get this nice little card that asks you to be nice and like write a review, what their promise is to you and how they can help you out. So like I know that if I reached out to them and was like, hey, the inking in mine is weird. Do you guys mind? Like, I know this is so dumb, but it's bugging me. I don't know. They would probably send me one and not ask me to ship this one back. Again, I don't think it's worth me kicking up a whole bunch of dust over. That's just me personally. And then you get 2 stickers. You get a passion planner and a 1 day at a time, 1 step at a time sticker for 2020, which is kind of nice. And I'll have to stick this one in my Hobonichi for this year since it's 2020. But that's it. That's all she wrote. Again, super sorry about the length and the rant, but I really want, as much as this is a review, it is also for my followers and subscribers who want to know what my setup is going to look like. There will be lots of setup videos this year. Normally, I'm pretty boring and it's like, hey, here's my unboxing. Hey, here's my plan with me setup. And it's really cut and dry. But this year, I'm really bracketing it out into more content. So, you know, unboxing wise, what I'm using. I'll do a big, this is everything I'm using for 2021. And there's more than there usually is. Because I've added 2 new journals to my stash for different reasons. And one of them slowly came into play this year, and will be continuing into 2021. And I will also be introing a new memory keeping thing too. I don't want to give too much away. But I hope you guys enjoyed this and didn't hate me for being chatty and ranty. But I'm very curious what your 2021 choice was. It is, again, with the tense. But what is your 2020 choice? What was your 2020 planner? And again, as always, if you have any questions, feel free to pop them down below. But thank you guys so much and happy planning.